We'll get started right at the hour here, right at 8.
We have like 8 or 9 people signed up, so 4 or 5 will probably show up.
Yeah.
We have one here already. Yay.
Unless there's anything you want to put out into the nether or the ether.
Welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the Ovanova Solar Exploration Experience. We have some supporters joining us from We'll Find Out in a couple of minutes. And it's me and Luke from Team Ovanova. Get ready to give some money away to some good causes and have a friendly conversation with whoever shows up about the benefits of solar energy. So welcome to the show. Is that what you meant by putting something out in the universe?
That's exactly what I meant. That was beautiful.
Or did you mean more like where I say, to God, thank you for my life. Please give me the wisdom to see your path and the courage to take it type prayer into the universe?
You just did them both, so I didn't even have to ask you for them.
How about that? That's abundant.
Exactly. You didn't even have to ask me what I was talking about. You just did it.
Have you met Vernon yet?
I've not. Oh, he was on last night, right?
Briefly. He didn't get on to see the whole thing, so he just wanted to come back tonight and see how everything went. But yeah, Vernon is the electrician in California, is going to be helping us with the solar carport project in Joshua Tree. And he really liked what we were doing and wanted to come check it out and then let his softball team and church out in California use the service. So he just wanted to see it first. I guess now we know iPhone is Jason. Hi, Jason. We'll get started in 3 minutes. Thank you for showing up, being on time.
Yeah, no problem.
How you doing tonight?
Just fine. How about yourself?
Doing well. You in Florida, Texas, Georgia, California? Where are you joining us from?
Tampa, Florida.
Oh man, so are you with Summerfield or the American Victory Unit or a dance team? Which organization are you with?
Sun Lake High School.
The band.
Yes, correct.
Thank you for showing up tonight, Jason. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. It'll be the easiest fundraiser you've had. It won't taste nearly as good as selling candy bars, but hopefully it'll.
That's all right. Sounds good though.
Yeah, I got some. I think I gained enough weight during COVID to never be able to even buy a candy bar again if anybody asked. So we had to create a new way to raise funds. So thanks for joining us and making it easy. It's 2 minutes till. And now we have somebody on Lucas's account, which is a really cool name for a lady, if that's your name.
Hi, good evening. This is my son's account. I'm so sorry.
I can rename you. What's your name?
Diana.
With 1 N or 2?
1 N. Yes. Thank you.
Diana, thank you for showing up. We'll get started soon. Did you come from Sun Lake too, or are you in Miami or Houston, or what part of the world are you in today?
Miami.
And are you an Archimedean Academy?
Archimedean Academy, yes.
Why are the parents there so smart? We love it. Like we worked with Sobe for a while, and that was really fun. But Archimedean, they're just young parents who seems like they're working really hard, who are really busy.
And believe me, it is hard.
what did you do today? Like, what are you up to when you're not doing solar exploration fundraisers for the school?
Well, I'm a teacher.
Oh, do you teach at Archimedean or do you teach?
No, I don't.
What do you teach?
Special needs.
Well, thank you for doing that. Is that where your patience comes from? You seem like you have a real kind heart with the way you're smiling.
I tried my best.
I imagine some days it's very challenging, but thank you for working with those kids. That's great. There's moms at Archimedes that do everything from special needs to teaching calculus at the University of Miami.
Oh, wow.
What are your classmates' moms? So it's 1 minute till we start. We're going to wait for Elizabeth to hop in. Hi, Elizabeth. I think you're on audio. Is there anything that you want to talk about before we get started? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Anything you want to talk about as we start? So Jason and Diana and Elizabeth and Vernon, welcome. I'm going to ask you to turn your video cameras on so we can all talk like humans. I miss seeing people during this COVID time. And just want to let y'all know, I want to ask, first of all, I don't know if you know this, but every 75 seconds last year, somebody went solar. And it's happening faster and faster. There's a county in Virginia that's got like 100 people going solar per week. And I'm just curious in y'all's neighborhoods before we start, have any of your neighbors or friends already gone solar? Do you see it popping up where you are? Is it a kind of a new thing? Like what's it like in your communities as far as solar adoption?
Well, we moved recently to our new community. It's a new construction here in Homestead in Miami, and I have noticed part of the developments that we have around our complex and our community, they have solar panels, like all the big houses, the single family homes.
So you have noticed that. Have you had a chance to talk to anybody and ask them how they liked it yet?
Not really. I'm recently new here, so I'm just getting my, get to know everything around this area. So, but I have noticed many of the community with lots of big solar.
Is that a student or a son?
That's my son. That's Lucas.
Hi, Lucas. Thanks for letting us borrow your Zoom account. What about anybody else? Has anybody else seen any neighbors going solar? Because it is happening all over the place nowadays. Thank you.
Yeah, in Tampa, or my community.
Have you heard anybody talk about their experiences? Because I know they vary widely sometimes.
I've only heard positive things about it.
Cool. Well, Jason, thank you for showing up tonight. Since it's 8:02, we've given people a couple of minutes to get in. Let's go ahead and get started so we can give you the money that you came to raise. I'm sure that's why most of y'all showed up tonight. And I appreciate you at least humoring us with the solar, but we're grateful for the opportunity to make a bribe because we just think solar is really neat. And we think that people are curious about it, but don't really like talking to salespeople. So we created this service so that the very worst thing that happens is some good money goes to some good causes that y'all care about. And the best thing that happens is that you really like what you hear and we help you go solar in a really fun, friendly way. But when I say we, what I mean is me. That's me with the pink shirt on with a way too serious face running from the dinosaurs. And then my friend John, and I've been working with John for 15 years. And then Trey helps us with some carpenter and engineering stuff. Luke actually joined us tonight. Luke, you want to say hi real quick?
If I can unmute. Yeah, I'm Luke. It's nice to meet y'all. I'm here in Indianapolis, but part of the OVNO team. So I get to help support the organizations that y'all are here to support, and I get to make solar designs for y'all if you want one.
Yeah. And then Chris Snodgrass just graduated as an engineer. He's got a huge smile. And Holly's our busy mom. So moms, we know how busy you are, which is why we've decided to make this 25 minutes. We have 22 minutes left and we will be done. And you can even leave before then if you want to, and it won't keep you from raising the funds you came to raise. So let's just do this. Let's start with introduction. That's how you raise the fund. So if you could just turn on your camera, introduce yourself, say your name, where you are, and who you came to support, which organization you came to support, since we're all here. That's the fundraising. That's all it takes, is just to be a human. So Diana, do you want to start? Tell everybody. There's more people that came in. I know where you're from, but there's new people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm from Miami, and I'm fundraising for Archimedean Academy.
Well, you just did it. $50 to Archimedean. Thank you, Diana. Pretty easy fundraiser, huh?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And I know Jason's got his microphone on. He's out of Tampa. You want to introduce yourself, Jason?
Yeah, Jason Harkey, Tampa, Florida, and Sun Lake Band.
Very cool. Thank you for supporting the band. We're grateful to give a donation. Thank you for joining us. And so how about you, Elizabeth? I see you on here.
Hi, so I'm here from Miami. I'm also supporting Archimedean like Diana. So, and I have seen a lot of people going solar in the area as well. So it's definitely something to look into.
Have you heard anything? Have you heard them say anything about it?
Yeah, mostly like everybody says good things about it.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it's just making electricity from sunlight.
Yeah.
We're going to use electricity one way or the other. It's just like, where's it going to come from? And so, Elizabeth, you just raised $50 for Archimedean, just for introducing yourself. Thank you for being here. And then we have, it looks like Francis, or whoever's using Francis. Is that you, Francis, or is that?
Yeah, no, it's me. I'm here. I'm here from Miami too, supporting Archimedean Opera Conservatory.
Well, thank you for showing up to support them. Looking forward to answering any questions you have, and we'll be done in 20 minutes because it's already 5 after. Thank you for joining us. And the Valeria, let me ask you to unmute. I don't know if I said your name right.
Yes, I'm Valeria, and I'm also supporting our comedian, and I'm in Miami, Florida.
When I see Valeria, I just think about what show is that had Valerian Steel? Was that
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like there's some like really good swords that you make. Thanks for keeping the Game of Thrones. Thanks for keeping winter from coming. Anyway, that was way too much. Glad you're here. Grateful to give a donation. And then we have Sophia left, and I believe that's it. So let me unmute you, Sophia. Oh yeah, you are muted.
Okay. Yeah, I'm supporting our comedian too from Miami.
Wow, our comedian showed up tonight. So thank y'all for being here. It looks like we just raised $300 in 6 minutes. So again, it's not as tasty as cookie dough or candy bars, but hopefully that was easy. And
Sophia, Lester, before you go on, Sophia, did you by chance sign up under another name? I just want to make sure we get you your name there so we can send your donation. I just want to.
Yeah, he was talking to you, Sophia. Like, we didn't have a Sophia registered, but we want to make
Say it
sure.
again? Oh, this is okay.
So did you sign up under a different name?
No, this is my daughter's name. Let me put my name.
Okay, that works. Funny, the kids are the ones with the Zoom accounts. So y'all, we have. Thank y'all for being here. I'm going to share 4 quick things with you. It might take 2 or 3 minutes, and then it might lead to some questions. And at 25 minutes after,
did you just go to the house?
We'll stop and give you a way to move forward if you want to continue to learn more, or to say thanks and head on about your night. But we're really grateful that you're here. So 4 things about solar that you might not know. Did y'all know that the government will allow you to keep 26% of the entire cost of your system next year via tax credit? Who didn't know that the federal government had a tax credit to help you pay for your solar? So pretty cool, huh, Diana? Jason, I mean, if your total system cost is 20 grand, that means the government lets you keep $5,200 in taxes instead of sending it to them, just to say thanks for helping us have a more secure energy source. So you've got about 2 years left on that program. It was created in the Obama administration and it was extended during the Trump administration. So it's for homeowners who are looking to go solar, and the US government pays for 26% of it. So that's the first thing. So somebody just raised their hand, and I love it when that happens. So that's W. Oh, we had a new person join us. So we'll get to raise some more money. I don't know how you made it in, but you did. Welcome, Miss Marsh. You want to introduce yourself and tell us who you came to support? Oh, you're muted. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you say. There we go. Hi. What's your name? Who'd you come to support? What part of the world are you in?
I came to support Denise Rojas at Archimedean Upper Conservatory.
Well, you just did it. We're going to give $50 because you showed up. You missed the introduction. Yeah. My name's Lester. I'm in Knoxville. No problem. I'm your host tonight. And so the only thing you really need that you've missed is, did you know that the government will let you keep 26?
I saw myself. What the hell? Sorry.
You said you just saw yourself?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I haven't done a Zoom before.
This is your first Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Well, you're doing a great job. So we're just talking about solar and giving money away for people that are willing to listen. Thanks for taking the bribe. So the US government will also bribe you. They'll let you keep 26% of the cost of a solar system. What did you say your name was? W or Marsh or?
Wilda.
Wolja?
Wilda.
Wolja.
No, Wilda. WILDA.
I have big ears, but they don't hear very well. Hi, Wilda. Thank you for being here to support our community. Number 2, solar will increase the value of your property, which is just common sense, right? If your house can make its own electricity, wouldn't you rather have a house that can make its own electricity than not? So if somebody moves in, they're going to pay more for it. Zillow says they'll pay 4% more. But what we do is we just look at the value of the electricity. This is an example of somebody from Tampa who was spending $127 a month with Duke. So over the course of 25 years, they're going to spend $38,000 on electricity. They found out that going solar was under 20, and after the tax credit was under 15. So if you could put a pool into your house that was worth $40,000 and you paid $14,000 for it, does it make sense why you would have equity in your home? Like whoever moves into that house has lower price electricity. And so the value is the difference between what they would be paying for your electricity and what they actually pay with you. And then any questions about that? All right. Number 3, did you know, how many of y'all knew that you didn't even need a down payment to go solar nowadays? Was that new, Valeria? New information? Like a lot of people are curious about solar, Diana, but they think that you need to pay a lot up front for it. And what they don't know is that it's like an iPhone where you can walk into the store, walk out, have your iPhone, start using it, and then just pay every month. You can do the same thing with solar energy. You can say, I want to use solar, have it installed, and then put it up. Nothing comes out of your pocket until it's actually working. And then you pay for it. And that's the last thing. Number 4 is that you don't even have to have extra money after it's installed, because you just use the money that used to go to your electricity company to make your payments with, which is number 5 on the list. And it's not on here, but it's probably the most important thing. The key difference between solar energy and the way you're making it now, environment aside, is that what you're doing now never goes away. Like this is how we make electricity. We blow up the planet and set things on fire to make steam. And that's great. It's how we're having this conversation. But it's a never-ending process that has to be done day after day. And that's why you have a thing called an electricity bill that comes month after month. Whereas if you own a solar panel, you can make your electricity right at home where you need it. So those are like the 4 or 5 big things that people really like about solar that I just like to start with, because if you thought it was too expensive or you needed extra money, you might not even be curious to get your questions answered and ask about it. But I have 12 minutes and actually have 2 hours, but I promised y'all we would be done in 12 minutes. So I'm curious, if your best friend were going to buy solar panels for you because they won the lottery or something, what kind of questions would you want to know before you would put them on the roof? Or if you don't like that question, just what kind of questions do you have about solar in general? Here's some basic ones.
I would want to know about the maintenance of the panels. How does that work?
Thank you for asking. Let me show you. So have any of y'all ever gotten a notification from Instagram or Facebook when somebody tagged you in a photo?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Your solar panels will tag you if they're not working right. You have an app. There's an app for that. And the app shows how much electricity you're making, how much is going to the grid, how much is going to your house. It shows, this is early in the morning, like 8 o'clock. So the sun is just starting to rise here. And at all moments, if your husband were here, like dads get addicted to this app because it shows you how much money you're making from catching free sunlight. Like you have all this money that's falling on your house that's just running off right now. And so your app shows you if you do need maintenance. But Elizabeth, the good news is that solar panels, they don't need much maintenance. A water hose, if you live on a dirt road, is about all of the maintenance they need. They come with a 25-year warranty that is not only, it doesn't just say these are going to be working in 25 years. It says that 25 years from now, they'll be making 80 to 92% as much electricity as they do the day they come out of the box. And that just depends on what kind of panels you want. So you have a 25-year warranty. The maintenance is spraying them off from time to time. And in the rare cases something goes wrong, you find out immediately, you call us and we figure it out and get it working. But that was a very good question. Did that answer your question, Elizabeth, or would you like to ask a follow-up about that?
No, that was good. That answered my question.
Thank you. Was anybody else wondering that? Like, what's the maintenance? It's always good whenever other people have the same questions. What else were y'all wondering?
Well, we're in a hurricane zone. How would that affect our structure? How would that affect the safety of our home?
Let me
You
show
think
you.
of an image
Let me
and kind of
skip this
dream it up
commercial.
first.
Prepping the roof for solar panels. Here are the team of 3 installers.
So do you see those little things right there? They're underneath the shingle. And if you have tiles, they go underneath the tile. So the water runs over them as if they're a shingle. So you don't have to worry about leaks. But I'm showing these to you because depending on where you live determines how many of these feet need to go into the roof. Because in Miami, you have hurricanes. And if they were only attached in 2 or 3 places, they might just blow away. But they have to be engineered and pass the county test to even be permitted, and then pass a county inspection to make sure they were installed according to plan. And the type of racking we use will withstand 170 mile-per-hour winds for up to 15 minutes. The code is 155 in Miami. But you can see, you just stick those things under your roof.
Racks on the roof that will hold the 24 solar panels.
Those are the racks that the solar panels go on. So you stick it in.
Step 2, connecting the panels to the roof. The panels are mounted on the racking equipment and will soon begin to generate solar electricity. They are connected to a string inverter that converts solar energy into usable electricity.
Anyway, you get the idea. Like, so as far as hurricanes go, it's engineered to withstand hurricanes, but we all know that sometimes Hurricane Andrew comes and your whole home blows away. And if in that case, you're covered by homeowners insurance, and we make sure you have enough. But most of the time, unless your entire roof blows away, your solar panel isn't going to blow away. And if it's just 1 or 2 panels, a solar panel is like $100 to $200. It's the job and all the other pieces of putting it together that makes it expensive. But if all you need to do is replace a panel on a job that's already installed, that's a quick job and it's not expensive at all. You might not even want to use your insurance. And they're really good at, they're made to be outside. But Valeria, you asked me that question, right? Any follow-up questions, or do I need to go more slowly, or was that good?
Well, you're saying that the bases go underneath the shingle, so that means they're gonna have to take off the actual shingle and put new shingles in and everything?
It just slides right underneath it. I can show you another video if you'd like to see it more up close. So it basically becomes a shingle, and then the shingle sets on top of it. So the shingles don't get taken up. They just become like a hat for this flat piece that then there's a bolt that's screwed into the rafter, and it's all water sealed and protected.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. What else are y'all wondering about? These are great questions. We have 7 minutes left. Does anybody know how you would have electricity at night? Because the sun doesn't shine at night. And I'm assuming y'all like to watch Netflix sometimes or have electricity at night. So let me share with you how solar works and see if this brings up any questions. During the daytime, the sun shines on your solar panels, and your solar panels turn sunlight into electricity. Your house uses that electricity. Whatever you don't use, you share with your neighbors. And FPL or TECO will actually give you a credit to say thank you for making more than you needed and sharing it. So we didn't have to make it and send it like 200 miles down the line. It helps strengthen the grid. And so during the daytime, you make more than you need. And then at night, you just exchange those credits or during cloudy days. So instead of paying cash, you pay credits. Let me give you an example of that. This is my friend down in Texas. during the nighttime and on cloudy days, he bought $93 worth of electricity. During the pretty days, he made everything his house needed plus $107 more. So they actually owed him $15 at the end of the month. And the way it works with FPL is that you can make that extra electricity in April, and then you can cash it in November or December when you need it, when there's not as much sunlight. So it's kind of like rollover minutes. You have a whole year to use whatever electricity you make. And what our service is for is to help you figure out how many panels you need. So we zoom in on your house, and then we see where the sun is shining. See that green light? This is like June at noon. This is a house in Louisiana. That's where the sun is. But April at 6 o'clock in the morning, the sun's coming in over this house and is actually blocking part of the light. And so the panels aren't making electricity. So what we do is we look at your house. We see exactly how much light hits the places where you would like to place your panels. We create that together. Well, we'll create an initial one without any feedback. But then it's great to hop on together to make sure that we put them where you want them and that we have enough. Maybe you're going to get a Tesla. Maybe you're going to get a pool. Maybe you need extra electricity. Maybe you're getting ready to downsize. I don't know your personal situation, but that's why it's hard to say how much does solar cost. The answer is almost always less than your electricity bill, even paying for interest on a zero down loan. If you pay cash, it costs about half as much as your electricity does, assuming that your electricity never went up for the next 25 years. But how many panels you need just is determined by how much electricity you need to make, where you place your panels, and whether or not you have trees that are shading or big houses that are shading you. But that's what we do, is we just help you figure out that information if you'd like for us to. So, and then we'll send you this. It's like, this is how much your electricity costs from the electricity company. This is what your zero down solar option is. Here's your monthly savings. And there's all this stuff. So anyway, we've got 3 more minutes left. Luke just dropped a thing in the chat. If y'all saw a thing pop up in the chat, all that's for is that if the stuff we've gone over sounds good and you would like for us to get on a Zoom with you and let you tell us where you would want your panels, and we can see together exactly how much electricity they'll make and compare that to your usage, and then we can figure out your personal savings, then in the chat box, you'll see a link that'll take you to a page like this, and you can book a time, whatever you'd like, to continue the conversation. This is a journey. Tonight's just the first step, and we like to keep it short because we know that moms are busy, and if we talk too much the first time, nobody comes back to see us again. So that's in the chat box if you want to book a time, but I also have time for more questions. We have 2 minutes left. Any other big questions, thoughts, or comments? Or little ones? You guys want to see what they look like nowadays? Solar panels are beautiful now. The ones we use on homes are all black. They actually protect your roof and make it last longer. This is in Tampa. This is in Texas. This is one in Virginia that we just did. There's a battery system. Oh, batteries. Did y'all know that you don't need batteries to use solar? Your electricity company becomes your battery. But if you don't have batteries after a hurricane, you won't have power, because if you're making electricity and putting it back out on the lines when people are working on it, that's bad news for the people working on the lines. You don't want electricity going through the lines when people are trying to put them back up. But if you have a battery, and that picture I was just showing y'all, this is what our battery setup looks like. Your power will kick back on 4 milliseconds after the grid goes down, which is a quarter of a hummingbird wing flap. So if the grid goes down, you will have power. And every single day, the sun will fill your batteries back up, so you'll have power again. So even if the power is off for a month or 2 months, it doesn't matter. So some people like batteries. In the design that we'll send for you, you'll have a battery option in there as well. But is there anybody here that has any other things that you'd like to add? Because it's 8:25, and I promised you that this would be 25 minutes. And I'd love to continue the conversation if you're willing. If you click the chat button and find a time to get in touch, we'll look at your house. And we could talk about anything. Maybe you don't even want them on your house. Maybe you like a solar pergola. Maybe you want to build a big gazebo type theme. Maybe you just really don't like the way they look, so you want to camouflage them to make them look like your roof. Like these are solar panels. Like, it's not up to me to tell you what you want or need. You know, we just started this because we knew that all humans in America, except for the Amish, use electricity. And that electricity can be made with sunlight that's falling out of the sky for free. And we just wanted to make it as easy and as inexpensive as possible for people to be able to use it. So because y'all were willing to show up tonight, that means we don't have to pay salespeople to find you. It means that we never have to have any pressure because we talk to so many people. We always find people who want to do it. So we could just be cool, charge very little, keep having donations to give to more causes. So if you have some more organizations that we can support, be sure to let us know. But my time is up with y'all. If you need any help registering, let me know. If you have any more questions at all, I'm done for the week. I'm talking to a friend in San Francisco in an hour, but I have nothing to go between that. Thank y'all for showing up and being the kind of humans who are willing to give up a little bit of your time to support something besides yourself and to be curious about a new technology that makes sense. We don't.
Thank you very much. I'll fill out the form and send it in to you guys.
Jason, looking forward to connecting with you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. This is like the awkward goodbyes. It's like, oh, yeah. Elizabeth, are you out of here? Saw you waving. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Lester. Thank you so much for your time.
Diana, thank you for being a teacher and showing up to support a great cause. It's wonderful to hear.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We should get some music to play while people are leaving.
Yeah, we do need some exit music. What would be a good song? I get knocked down, but I get up again.
You can't stay here, but you can't. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Closing time. Dun, dun, dun.
I was thinking.
Oh, Francis is still here. Yay! Does that mean we get to talk to Francis some more, or are you just trying to figure out how to leave? Francis, did you have any more thoughts or questions? Nope, she wanted to go. Jason's gone now too. So we still have Vernon. Vernon's our friend. What's up, Vernon?
Hey, I enjoyed it. It was really good.
See how it works. But sometimes they were a real quiet crowd. Usually people start, saying things. Questions. Yeah, they start asking questions. So I sort of had to spoon feed them that time because it's Thursday night and they're probably, 2 glasses of wine into the night or whatever.
Well, it's good though. It's what I expected, but I just wanted to see it all the way from the beginning. And really, I'm loving it though. And that's not just, giving you guys kind words. I mean, from a solar installer, electrical contractor, a person that, tries to sell solar and all of that, whatever label I fit into, I'm loving it, man, for real.
Man, we love supporting communities. Thank you for your kind words, man. And if you can get our installations up in California, we can do this a million times. The only difference is it's going to be $25. And then they're at the end, instead of like sign up if you want to, it'll just be like, and here's a surprise. If you would like to double your donation, pick a time to get back in touch with us so we can go over your design and we'll be just as nice the next time.
And I think that's cool right there. So I did speak with somebody, man, and as a matter of fact, I was talking with someone last night and she was saying, well, can we do it next week? I was like, well, I don't know. I told them 2 weeks so that we can get the link. And I told her that you guys were, taking a little time off, just sitting down for a week or two before you ramp back up. So what what I mentioned to her was that, you know, as I said, in the community that we're in, think about, I think she's like the vice president of our MVGSA, which is our, you know, Marietta Valley Girls Softball Association or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I was telling her, hey, think how many families, you know, that we have, and each think of all the teams that need to a $400 fundraiser for each team or whatever, you know. And I don't know what kind of ideas they came up with, but what I told her was I was going to sit in today so I could see it from the beginning, and I gave her as much as I could about how it is. And then and I mean, I've been to their house. They don't have solar yet, and you know, I just don't badger them or nothing, but I'm like, look, they live, I could probably throw a stone, you know, to their house if I was real good. But anyways, I'm thinking like, hey, look at how many families are out here. She has more of an idea than I do. So, you know, let's say a couple hundred families.
Yeah.
So let's say, because you got about X amount of teams, let's say 5 teams each division, from 6U, 8U, 10U, 12U, and uppers, things like that. So you got at least about 5 teams.
Yeah.
And each team is going to have 10, you know, to 12 families, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was
And,
just like,
and they could be in other states too. So they've got aunties and uncles. And
well, yeah, and they could invite people on, you know. But once I wanted to get with you guys to see exactly what am I supposed to do in order to present it to the whole league, and if they need to share it with someone else and things like that, you know, how do we do it?
That link is live that I sent you today. They could sign up today, and it starts in 2 weeks. And we have an unlimited amount of money to give away to those organizations, assuming that they're actually homeowners and they show up on a computer. That's the only 2 things. Yeah. You know, no more phones after this week. It's got to be on a computer or tablet, so they can, because you saw the people at the end. The biggest reason people don't sign up is because they don't see the chat button. They don't understand how. It's hard to have a call to action, but on a computer, it's really easy to have a call to action.
Yeah. So I would, what was I going to ask? So if they clicked on that link right now, remember I told you earlier today, I went on the other link that you gave me, and it said $50 or whatever. I haven't clicked on the new link that you gave me. So does that say $25, the new link that you gave me?
It does. And then in what you know, and you can kind of like whisper if you want to, we kind of want it to be a bad secret, like a secret that everybody kind of knows about, but we never tell them about.
Yeah.
And so it's still going to be a $50 fundraiser. It's just going to do more good because then people are going to have an incentive to show up to learn. That's it. And,
right.
And yeah, man, click on that new link. You'll see it completely spelled out. If you think we need to clarify anything, we will. And we actually put a 9 o'clock Eastern time slot in so that the people of California would be able to get home after work, you know, and get her done.
Right. And I appreciate that. And, you know, here's the deal. As I told them, I'm not benefiting. The only way that I would benefit is if I somehow do the installs. And as I told them, it goes to benefit whatever organization that you're supporting. And it's just to come on and $25 for 25 minutes to get educated and to ask questions about solar. And you will. And the one question that I had, she didn't ask me, how is it going to the organization, and how is and then how soon, those things, because this is what people are going to ask.
Like we pay every Friday, and our preferred way to do it is a PayPal link. So if we there's so many organizations we work with that it takes us the full morning on Friday to figure out who we owe what to.
Yes.
But when people sign up, they'll write the name of the organization.
Yeah. So you pretty much already have an idea of which ones is going to, but you have to dot your I's and cross your T's and stuff, right?
Right. It's just, it's just making sure that Like they can get paid however they want to. We could send a check, but that takes too long. The easiest way to do it is with the PayPal link. So if they have a donation page on their website or a team PayPal link, that's what we need, is access to that. And if we have access to that, then we're good to go. And Vernon, you're welcome to have the right of first refusal to any installation that occurs. Like, the only reason we're really excited about working with your community is because we have you. Because with you as a teammate, where we can say, all right, we've got 10 jobs, we know that we have prices that are better than anybody in California. Like, your community is going to, like, we charge, they're going to benefit. We charge 40 cents for the fundraiser, which pays our whole team and allows us to do as many of these as we want. That's you earn 50 cents as the installer. And then there's a project management fee that will split up depending on who does the engineering and who does the permits and all that. But it's completely transparent. And right now, per watt on decent sized systems, we're at about 201 to 205. For smaller systems, we're still like 250 or 60 because of just the way the math works on it. You know, so if, like, we're talking about cutting people's electricity bill in half, even with zero down financing. You know, 660 is the lowest credit score that we can finance through our credit union currently. But as long as we're a homeowner, we can figure something out.
Yes, sir. You know, and you know, I mean, I'm excited, and as you said, right of first refusal. You know, I thought about that, I don't know, yesterday or today, whichever, somewhere in between the last time we talked and, you know, today. You know what? It's, I mean, yeah, it's good to have things in writing, but at the same time, a gentleman's deal, you know, still works sometime if that's the right term for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because,
I forgot to send you your agreement yesterday. I've got, after this call at 9:30, I'll email you our actual agreement to be our preferred contractor in your area.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Because what this is what I don't want to go to court about anything. Yeah. So that's why in most documents that we have, there's an arbitration clause. But I wouldn't force, the same way I wouldn't force my wife. I wouldn't force anybody into a relationship that didn't want to be in a relationship with me, whether it's business or personal. And because I believe that, because I'm free, want to be free to make the choices and decisions that I want to do, and I don't want anybody to bind me up, you know, and say, hey, no, you have to bounce the ball with your left hand, or no, you have to, you know, shoot from behind the basket. I'm gonna shoot from the free throw line if that's what I want to do. Or you gotta wear this uniform. No, I'm free. Look at the NBA and the NFL. You know, they're free agents. They're moving around like I am. You know, so that's why I wouldn't hold you to anything, and I don't expect you guys to hold me to anything except but our word. And if there's anything owed to you or anything owed to me, I expect that to be upheld. But at the same time, there is absolutely nothing wrong with paperwork, you know?
Yeah, we like paperwork for one reason. It's just because it serves as a memory jogger of like what we agreed to, because some places,
clarity.
We have an installer in Wisconsin that does all of the engineering and all of the interconnections. So they earn almost the entire project management fee.
Right.
You know, and then we've got a guy in Florida, and they don't do the engineering, but they do the interconnection. So it's like, okay, you get your 50 cents plus this much. It's just to remember what we agreed to. And I will send it to you so you can be assured, but you and I feel the same way. I wouldn't do business with anybody that I wouldn't want to do business with voluntarily. And you've been impressive. John was really impressed with your electrical knowledge the other day, Vernon, and I'm grateful for you sharing that stuff. I
appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we're fired up to work with you. And
what does I forgot, John, what does John do? Is he's not an engineer, right? What is
he studied electrical engineering in college.
Okay, yeah.
but
Okay.
only for a couple of years. He's just, you know, those guys, you might be like this too, that can just build anything and figure things out.
No, I'm not like that. It seems like it because I basically held the hammer or something while you did it, so it looked like I did it. But no, I'm not that guy. I'm just the guy in the background, you know, photobombing you and like, hey, yeah, we did it. You know, I'm not that dude. But I can't figure out some stuff, but that's just because of my age and experience and as many projects that I've touched, you know.
Yeah, John's a CEO. We're both co-founders. I'm like the chairperson, and
that's good.
John's a CEO because he's younger and he has a better mind than I do when it comes to logical things. I just love people.
Hey,
young
minds are amazing, aren't they? Young minds are amazing.
They are. It makes a huge difference. And I've known him since he was 18 years old. Like, he's basically my kid brother. I trust him with I trust him completely. He does what's right. He tells people the truth, even when it's hard. And right now he's actually just driving home from, there's a friend, I've had a buddy of mine for 20 years that just decided to go solar, and he lives in North Carolina. Wow. So John, we have a home installation crew when it's like North Carolina or Virginia that we use. And he was actually on a roof putting racking up today. Where John is, like, he was physically on a roof driving back, which is why I ran this tonight. But he runs, and Holly runs the one sometimes. I run them sometimes. Luke runs them sometimes. But I'm old and not very good. I just like people and, you know, like talking about solar. But
no, you come off really well, and I believe people gravitate towards, you know, it's what's the word? Is it genuineness? I don't think that's a word, but you know, being genuine. I think people gravitate towards that.
Authentic, real, whatever you want to call it. You know, I do the best I can. You know, sometimes it's better than others.
Hey, one question I had, man. When you told me the name Over and Over, right? I saw over and over, like over and over. You know what I mean? That's what
That's what we tell people. We tell people it's not really where the name came from, and I'll tell you that story sometime if you want to hear it. But what we usually tell people is, like, if you want to remember our name, think of it like the sun comes up over and over again.
And over and over. That's what I saw. Over and over.
And you know what? Teams need to raise funds over and over again. We have an electricity bill that comes over and over again.
Over and over, yes.
And the sun comes up over and over again. And so we're going to do something about it together. You know, welcome to the show.
Hey, so, you know, but I really appreciate, like you said, you guys allow me to be a part, and, you know, just to be able to talk to you, and you guys share, you know, what you do with me. And then, as I said, I don't have to ever be the star of the show because I'm enjoying it right here. And what was that?
You can be. If you get sick of being the installer, you're welcome to run these things with us, man. I'm sure you'd be awesome.
Oh, man. You know, maybe one day we'll see, and then we're gonna ask for feedback. If I do it, we're gonna get instantaneous feedback to let you know that that's not my calling. You know what I mean? So,
well, it's nice to have partners that can do different things, isn't it? You know, if we all had to do everything ourselves, we'd never get anything done. But it's good to have people that can do different things, because there's not a chance.
Those questions that you got asked, excuse me, I got a bad habit of jumping in because I feel like we're short on time. But those questions that you were asked about, she was talking about the hurricanes in Florida and all of that, and then you did a real good job of talking about, because I knew because when she had a follow-up, she still did not understand how they get attached to the roof. What's going to make them strong and stick and hold? Right. Because you just said that these are like shingles, but she's thinking like this shingle would fly off. But once you told her about the lag bolt that goes into the rafter, I think that cleared it up for her, and everything gets water sealed and waterproofed, you know?
If she'd had more questions, I would have showed her this video if she'd had even more questions.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
And
here's a flash.
because I
flip.
have to answer those same questions I have to answer those questions. And I tell people, you know what? I've been in construction 20 years. I've done this, done that. I've tore roofs off of houses, re-roofed houses, helped rebuild 100-year-old houses and bring them up to code and up to date. And I have to explain this to them. And a lot of times the average everyday salesperson may not know some of this stuff. Yeah. Because they move from a door knocker or a lead generator to maybe trying to close, and they don't know anything about how the solar gets attached to the roof.
Or they don't know anything about most things. They know that you're supposed to put panels on the south, maybe, like that's about all. In California, you could put panels on the north and it would still work great as much as electricity is.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's going to produce. What I tell people is that solar power, look at it like this, solar power is cheaper than fossil fuels. So, and I tell people, hey, you see this car, you got this Benz or Mercedes or whatever. I said, if that gas station over there, if your car ran off of water and water did not harm your vehicle at all, just as well as gas, and they were selling water over there for $2 a gallon, but this gas over here is $4 a gallon, what are you going to put in it? You're gonna use that water, right. And so solar the water is cheaper than the petroleum, So it's cheaper. If we go to the store right now and get a gallon of water or get a gallon of gas, it's cheaper. So water ran your vehicle, and so solar power, the sunlight is cheaper than fossil fuels.
That's good. I'm going to use that one. If your car could run on water, would you rather pour a gallon of water in it or a $4 gallon of gas? Exactly.
And that cartoon that you had, those men, they were working, man. They were shoveling coal and going through the whole process. I told you, man, I have these years that I've been doing it about as long as you guys. I left my job in construction as a journeyman electrician. And I had gotten a contractor's license, but I didn't figure out, my thing was, how am I going to sustain me and my family, run a business and all this, that, other. So that's what I had to figure out. So over time, I got analogy after analogy after analogy, Lester. I'm going to give you one good one. One time, I'm going to give you one good one. Remind me to give you the one about about Juneteenth. Remind me to give you that one.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd love to hear it Juneteenth. Would you want to tell me now, or do you want me to wait till Juneteenth and ask?
No, you can get it right now if you got the
time. About it. Tell me about it. I didn't know anything about Juneteenth until about a year or two ago, and I thought, why is that? That'd be the best holiday ever. It needs to be a July 4th type real holiday. So what's the Juneteenth one?
So this is my analogy, man. So I've known about Juneteenth because, me being Black, I've known about Juneteenth. But growing up, I didn't know about Juneteenth, but I learned over time, about what's Juneteenth, and it gained in popularity. But anyways, so now more people have heard about Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. But now this was like a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I had a guy who was selling for me, a white guy, born right here in Southern California, right? Grew up in Orange County, in Long Beach. He grew up in Long Beach.
Got it.
So, and he's just as cookie cutter as you want to be. You know what I mean? So,
hey guys,
his name is John. Pardon me.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
White old white boy.
But he's funny, man. He was my partner. It's just that he. I don't know. I'll get into that later. But anyways, I was like, hey, John. His name is John as well. So I was like, I had this epiphany one night. I guess God gave me this dream, and I already knew about Juneteenth. But my wife has all these dreams, vivid dreams. She'll recall them every morning, and she'll tell me about her dreams. And I'm like, well, you know what? I don't dream that much. I'm just out, So I had a dream one time, and God woke me up. So I started Googling. I'm like, what is the real meaning behind Juneteenth, right? So the slaves were free in Washington, 1863, I believe, or whenever it was, right? Mm-hmm. So So because we didn't have all this communication that we have right now, right? Ways to communicate, you know. So the word, there we go. Where we at? June 19th. But if we go back to when it was actually, let me put on my glasses. Man, look at you. I like that. I didn't know what you were doing.
Well, it's
So,
always on YouTube.
we're-
You know, we stream everything on YouTube, so we're having this conversation on YouTube. I figured somebody might be able to
Yes,
learn.
sir. Let's see if we can find that date. Wait, 1865, right? Wait, go back, go up, go back up, go
Yeah.
up.
So it's
Up
1865.
like the first paragraph, right there. Stop right there. So look, we'll stop right there. But in 1863 is when it was done, right? It was so 2 years later in 1865. Wait, I believe 1863. So 2 years later in 1865 is when the word reached Galveston, Texas. So I was telling somebody, well, this general or whomever, you know, probably come down there on his cavalry or whatever you want to call it on his horse, and he said, hey, these people are free. The slave owner and slave relationship no longer exists. Now it is employee or employer or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So these people are free. This was 1865, right? 2 years later, word gets down to Galveston, Texas. That's why it's so, this was the last of the slaves that were freed. So they were already free 2 years before, but they just didn't know it. So you see where I'm going?
That's a hell of a 2 years. Yeah, but I see where you're going. I love it. Keep going. I'm not going to interrupt you.
So anyways, I woke up one day and John had come to my house and we were sitting outside and I said, hey, John, man, do you know what Juneteenth is? He's like, no. So I explained it to him and I'm going into it like I'm telling you, right? I say, well, I had this dream. I said, John, you might be able to use this analogy. I don't know. It might be a little touchy or something, but I'm going to give it to you. See if you can get it. So I said, so look, what do you think those slaves did what do you think happened when they said you are now free?
What
do you think those slaves did?
They
What do you think those slaves did?
Well, you would think if you're an idiot, I guess that they'd be real happy, but really what they did is like, you're lying to me. They probably was like, I don't believe it. And thought they were going to get killed if they did believe it. And then they celebrated once they found out it was true. What did they do?
But you know what? Some people like me probably said, you know, hey, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Thanks.
I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm out of here. You know, I'm headed north. I don't know what's north, but you know, some were like, stay with the slave master because only thing they knew was slavery. They were born into slavery. Their parents and grandparents were slaves, and anything that they saw related to freedom, somebody ended up getting killed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So when you say you are free, they're looking like, I don't know about that, buddy. Hold up a minute. Hey, master, they looking around like, master, what? Is this real? Like, man, like they like, hey, you need to get out of here because you're trying to get me killed. That's probably what they were saying.
Right.
Take, for instance, when a solar salesperson tried to sell solar to somebody and they looking like,
you're a cockroach.
I can make my own. Say, what the?
What?
Get you the devil. Get out of here. They like, you know what? I'm going to stay with the slave master, SoCal Edison. I'm going to stay with the slave master, PG&E, SDG&E. And you know what? Some people like me say, you know what? I'm finna put this solar on my roof and I'm breaking free from the slave master and I'm sick of that bill. You know what I mean? I'm going to produce my own. And so when I tell people, I say, hey, like Southwest Airlines, you are free to move about the country. They don't have a monopoly on it no more. You can put your own up there. You know, you're free to build a business. These slaves, they were free to live their life and go on and build a life. But we got people with a slave mentality. That's what I was really trying to get to. That's a slave mentality to stay under that strong hand of your utility company. When you have,
ever known.
That's all they know. That's all they know is SoCal Edison. They like, Vernon, you're gonna do what? You don't even look like a salesperson. You don't even look like you know anything because I talk with this regular common vernacular and I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. They like, Vernon, you the guy that was just standing up here with a beanie on your head, sipping on a Red Bull. You know what I mean? Talking about softball. What do you know about solar? And I'm like, well, hey, we live in this house over here, and I got solar on my roof, and I have a long list of references of customers that have allowed me, and the funny thing is that I have quite a few customers that work for SoCal Edison, and even with their discount, they get a better deal on solar.
Yeah, we just got a system activated today for a Duke Energy employee in Florida. So
yeah,
that's the SoCal Edison of Florida and North Carolina and South Carolina. It's funny you say that, because John and I used to talk to people about, we actually use the phrase liberating humanity from energy slavery, because that's what we're in. Like,
liberating humanity from energy
slavery. Yeah, like we're energy slaves. Like, I'm like, well, what do you call it if you have to go to work, or else you starve to death, right? Because if you don't go to work, you don't pay your light bill. You don't pay your light bill, they cut it off. They cut your lights off. Your food spoils, and you can't cook anything, and that's it. I mean, you're thinking, yeah, I could go over to my neighbor's house, but like, well, eventually your neighbors are going to get sick of seeing you. Got to pay your light bill.
Yeah.
Or you can just make it yourself for less.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? It's like if you were sitting in a restaurant. Go ahead.
I gave people analogies like, hey, if you were in Saudi Arabia, you know what I mean, and you're driving cars or whatever, right? And they got plenty of oil and all that stuff. But what if I could build you a refinery where you can produce your own stuff in your backyard with all that oil? We struck gold in your backyard.
Yeah.
I could put a ground mount system in your backyard. And I said, equate that gasoline or that to your utility power, to your electricity. And I'm just trying to get them to see it. But people are like, how is this and how is that? I said, well, look, I can explain to you how a solar panel works or how it's produced or how it's made, but you may not understand it. But I will try to explain to the best of my ability. But here, this is the sarcastic side of me. But you don't ask that question when you get on the airplane and you don't know how a plane takes off and lands and gets you where you're going. But you jump on that thing every time with your life. Put your life in the, man, I'm like, come on. So you don't want to do this because you don't know how it works. I'm telling you how it works. It costs less than what, you don't know how you get power from Edison right now. But you use it.
Yeah, we stopped asking that question. We used to have this whole video we would show people just because we wanted them to understand where their electricity came from and just how crazy it was. So we made this thing for them, and we asked 95%. I would say that maybe 5 out of 100 people could give some decent explanation about how their electricity was made.
Yeah.
Like they have no idea. This is
or where it comes from.
Yeah. How's my electricity made from?
There are 2 ways the human family makes electricity. 98.8% of our energy in the United States comes from turning magnets through copper coils, generating an electric current, and then sending it down wires to your home so you can watch Netflix and chill. 2 ways to make these magnets turn are building hydroelectric dams on rivers and using wind. Mainly, though, turn things by making steam, and making steam requires heat. In the US, around 20% of the time we make this heat by splitting atoms. Nuclear power is really steam power. Sometimes we even create this steam to turn magnets by exotic methods like geothermal or solar thermal. But most often, to make the steam to turn the magnets, we just burn things like coal, natural gas, or whatever we can find. Like chipped up.
Burn things.
Just burn them.
Instead of burning things to turn things, we can also make electricity directly from sunlight. That is what photovoltaic PV cells do, which are found in solar panels. It's a form of tech.
That's right, when they're going to call you the devil. They're going to say, get out of here. You're the devil.
You're the devil.
You're talking about solar. You must be the devil.
It's funny that you call me the devil, because last time I checked, there was one way to make electricity that came from the fire, which I heard is in hell. And there's another way to make electricity that comes from the light, which I thought had something to do with angels. And just read the first 4 verses of Genesis and see what God thinks about the light. You know, you want to have a sermon. We'll have a sermon about it.
I was gonna make a little ad campaign, or put on my shirt, God said, let there be,
Light.
it
was good.
God said, let there be. And I was going to put light with solar in parentheses so that they can get it. God, this is God ordained. That's what I was going to tell them. This is God ordained. He spoke this into existence. Let there be, what's another word for light? Solar.
Solar. Well, yeah, that's exactly right, man. And we're tearing up the earth. Like what I believe personally is, like, you look at one of the big reasons that we haven't tried to go back to slavery, it's because we made tractors and learned how to use oil, and we learned how to use electricity.
Better, what do you call them?
Better labor.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm. I've chopped cotton before. Like, I've done hard ass physical labor. That's where I'm from.
Right.
But nothing like a slave at all. It's stupid. Even, I mean, I did for a few hours, maybe every day. But like, to me, I just think the racism stuff is that we need solar power. Like, if getting oil and electricity could make the world go from slavery to racist, then maybe solar will make the world go from racist to cool. And at least, make it a lot easier. People would really see thought that way. It's like, what do you
say? Solar is helping the human race, huh?
It seems like it to me.
The human race forward.
It's energy, man. We got to have it from somewhere. It just doesn't have to come from setting the world on fire and from charging people their lives to go make the money to pay for it, and over and over.
Yes, sir. And I think when people get it in their head, like, hey, as long as God is still on the throne and the earth keeps spinning on his axis, sun comes up, we're going to have this power, until God say otherwise. So I think they're looking at it like, because they don't see, I think a lot of people don't see the world moving past like walking or whatever it was to, to horses and buggies and carriages to vehicles. And now I think they don't see the next step. They don't even see that this is just a step in a progressive step.
It's inevitable.
It is, and I think people.
It's only habits holding us back right now. There's nothing logical left. It's just habits. So I'm just keep doing what I'm doing.
Slave mentality.
Practice. Yeah, it's just like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So. Well, Vernon, I love talking to you, man. I'm going to hop off and get ready for my San Francisco call, but I'll send you that agreement tomorrow, but hop back on anytime you want to. Send your community. It's just going to be me, John. You see us. We're real folks. We give money away because that's what the sun does every day. It throws money down on our roof. So we just thought we'd show people like, hey, you can do that with us too. We're just doing what the sun does. And if not a single person in your community on any team decides to go solar with us, it will still be our honor to support your community. So thank you for giving us a chance to do that.
Hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and get that webcam so that I can be a real part of it. I'm going to go get a webcam and hook it up, and then I'll push this towards the people. And if they have any questions, I'll reach back out to you. But hopefully we can get people on and get started moving with this.
That sounds fantastic, Vernon. Yeah, and if you want to jump on there, like, how do I know if my roof is going to leak? I'm like, well, there's Vernon. He's the one that's going to do your job. Vernon, you're going to make the roof leak?
And what I also tell people, I say, hey, but let's say, for instance, if your roof does leak, this is what happens. I said, first of all, you're going to call me and I'm going to try to rectify it. If my insurance agent or whatever, my broker says that I can go, I'm going to try to rectify it, put a tarp over it, whatever. And I said, this is what will happen. That's why I have insurance. And then they're gonna send out an insurance adjuster. He's gonna go and look and see, is it leaking from a nail from when they built it, or is it leaking from some screws that we put in with the solar? Because as you know, our solar, our lags, we hit the rafters.
Yeah.
Now if we made a mistake and blah blah blah, and that's leaking, and plus I said water doesn't run uphill, so it's kind of hard. We got all this flashing and all this waterproofing, but they will send out an insurance adjuster and they will determine, where the leak came from. And then at that point, you can decide if you want me to fix it or if we want Joe Blow's roofing to fix it. But my insurance is going to cover that. That's why I make sure that I have insurance, because we're talking about people's homes that's $500,000, $1 million plus or whatever. I can't take that lightly. You know what I mean? And I can't afford to just be paying for that.
Yeah, we wouldn't work with you if you didn't have insurance. So we're grateful for you, man. And go spread the word. Let's get started in 2 weeks. Ovinova was born for California. We started this in California because we knew that in California, people are solared out. They're sick of solar salesmen. They're sick of advertising, but they're all still kind of curious about it. They just don't want to hear about it from assholes, you know?
Yeah. And go back to your first slide where you had all the statistics up there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It said about that California is the lower right, I believe. That right there, state ranking by cumulative solar capacity. Man, and that should say a lot right there. But like you said, they know they're still curious, but they don't want to hear it from, solar salesmen knocking on their doors,
And quite frankly, there's a lot of people in California who got screwed because they all signed escalator leases a decade ago. And so you hear about people moving out of their houses and trying to sell leases that are way overpriced to the person that's moving in. Like I had to call and threaten a company 3 years back because one of my buddies in Topanga Canyon was trying to sell a house and he's going to lose the sell. It was an escrow
because of that lease.
Because of that lease, and it took me.
And I've advised quite a few people. I was like, hey, look at this. Turn to page 23 and look at where your payment is going. I said, you wonder if your payment was going up and you're in year 2. Yes, it is going up, but look where it's going to be in 20 years. Yeah, I'm like $400 a month when you started at 150 or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? If you can find a way out of this, tell them to come get it since it's a lease. And you know what I told them? I said, hey, if you lease your vehicle and you can't make the payment, you give it back to the car dealership, right? They will come get their vehicle. They're not just going to leave it there. And you might have a small penalty to pay or something for getting out of the lease. But I said, the deal that I got for you, you know what I mean? You're going to save. You could pay that little bit. As a matter of fact, we'll pay that penalty. And if you tell them to come get this mess off your roof,
Yeah, like those leases are bad deals. And right now, the biggest solar companies are all selling, which is why we need men like you, and we need churches, and we need schools, and we need communities, and people willing to do it right. That's why we don't offer any leases at all. We don't have. What's that?
I've never sold a lease or PPA, and I have the ability to, but I won't because I don't believe in it, in a lease or a power purchase agreement, because I'm me. If I was the big company, I don't think that would even be my business philosophy, but I'm a small guy and this is my philosophy because I'm trying to help people. And then that's what, that's what I try to convey.
It's the right thing.
I try to convey that to people like, hey, I'm trying to help you come from under this slavery right here, the strong hand of the energy company, But
strong hearts overcome strong hands, man. Let's get our hearts right and go out and serve some people, and everything will take care of itself. So
all righty, Lester. So I'll be in touch. I'm gonna have people on this link, and I think what we'll do is you might see multiple signups or whatever, and people coming through from this area, the same organization, but they'll probably be doing it different days because they'll probably come in as teams. You know what I mean?
It's a rolling schedule.
Yes, sir.
They can do it whenever they want.
Is that it?
Yep. It's like we give $25 when you invest 25 minutes exploring solar. Ovinova gives $25 to the organization, cause, or person of your choice when you invest 25 minutes on Zoom with others exploring solar. Requirements: be a homeowner in the United States, no condos or townhomes unless you own the roof rights to the roof. Register, show up on time with your camera on, and introduce yourself. Be on a computer or a tablet. Communications, visual and interactive phones won't work. With 25 undistracted minutes to invest in learning. Bring your curiosity. We live stream all the events we can on our YouTube channel. Your questions can help answer the questions of others watching. After you join us and learn, if you'd like, we will create a free solar design with transparent pricing and payment options based on the information you share when you registered. You shared.
Yeah. So you know what? She asked me last night, do we have to buy anything? I say, you're not obligated to buy anything, and nobody's trying to sell you anything. But I said, and so I'm like, hey, just come, learn about solar, ask your questions about solar, $25 for 25 minutes, and you're going to be blessing the league or whatever.
Yeah, man, that first Friday with 10 people show up, that first Friday they see, $250 in their PayPal account, and it just keeps growing. That's when they believe it's real. It's like, wow.
Everybody else is going to fight to try to sign up then, because once one team does it and they hear that, oh, it's real, it went over here, the league will push it. Hey, sign up right here to help your team, blah, blah, blah.
It's going to be so much fun. We worked with a lot of low league sports teams in San Diego, like the Hornets and Valencia Park.
See, they probably needed some money, because Valencia Park is, I know Valencia Park. That's not an upscale area of San Diego, so they were probably doing fundraising. But here's the deal: they have homes, though. They have homes,
and they were able to put their kids. Like, they were able to put kids on the team who didn't have options if they weren't on the team. It would have led them to good places, So they were paying the fees for kids whose moms wanted them
who couldn't afford
it. And so we raised almost $10,000 for those guys last year between Valencia Park, the Bonita Buccaneers, and
it would have been. Now, it would have been real nice if you guys did get some return on that,
Well, that was back before we required home ownership. So I think a lot of people were probably renters and just gaming the system, but we learned. and if it's somebody Vernon, you're going to be the wild card, and you can make all the difference, because what it really takes for our service to work is somebody in the community who says this is real. And then it takes a couple of courageous people trying it out. Then they see that it's real. And if they go all the way with us, they'll see that our solar prices are probably $10,000, $15,000 less than any other thing they could get in California. We charge almost nothing. We're almost down to $2 a watt for 10, 12 kilowatts. It's like Tesla.
And that's beautiful. But as I said, these are, I don't know who owns a home, but there are plenty of homeowners around here. And the lady that I was speaking to last night, I've been to their house several times. They live a stone's throw from me. And as a matter of fact, they've been over there almost 2 years probably. And that home they bought probably for $1 million, and it's basically across the freeway from me. I live on one side of the freeway. They live on the other side of the freeway. And every time I leave my house, I'm pretty much driving by their house.
Great.
So,
well, thank you for sharing it with the community. Let's do it. Let's make it great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Lester. I have to get on myself, and I will be in touch, man. I appreciate it.